rated E10 for ages 10 and up.
While in most games, there are only a couple of properties that define certain objects. In Scribblenauts, there's really dozens of properties that make up an object, such as physical properties, how heavy is it, what's the material, electricity, temperature, and all that stuff. And it's necessary because we want the interaction between objects to be as realistic as possible and to be what you would expect from the object that you spawn. So there's tons of properties that define an object, AI as well. Even though it's just a DS game, our senior programmers did really an amazing job on pulling up all these systems that you only get one or two of in other games. Like one game might be physics-based, other games might be very heavy in terms of AI, but we really managed to get all that together, broken at the same time on a DS game, which is actually quite an impressive achievement. There are tons of different materials on objects. They're like the standards, like metal, wood, if it's fluid, water. So, and all those materials really interact like you would expect. For example, if something is made of wood, it would burn. If it's fire, you can put water in it and it will extinguish the fire. So they all really interact as you would expect them to. So AI goes really deep as well in this game. There's tons of different interactions. Every AI knows what it likes, what it does not like. For example, a vampire would be afraid of garlic, whereas a cop would be attracted to a donut and eat it. But it can go really very deep. You can, for example, define what objects certain AI likes to use in combination with other objects. So and that opens up a giant amount of interactions. Like, for example, the fireman would like to use a fire extinguisher or water hose or anything that's on fire, so he will extinguish it for you, anything that you would expect, really. In Scribblenauts, electricity plays a role as well, of course. You can connect certain objects together and certain objects conduct electricity or insulate it. For example, you have a battery and you attach a wire to it and then hook it up to a corpse and that will revive the corpse, of course. Certain objects require a charge to actually work. If you have, for example, a car that broke down, you can hook it up with a wire again and start it like that. So, yeah. Of course, electricity also knows how to interact with water, which is a big part, of course. If you throw a toaster in the water, it will electrify anything, whereas some other electrical device, like maybe a video game, would not function anymore if put under water. As soon as people realize that it's not only any item that can spawn, but also like vehicles and animals, and you can actually ride them and drive around in them, then it's really this whole other dimension of what you can actually do and how you can get around the world. So there's so many vehicles, like even I discover new ones every day that are in there. And riding around dinosaurs is always great fun. Of course, they're different movement types as well. So every object knows, it's completely data driven. So every object knows, can it just drive around? Is it front wheel drive, all wheel drive? Even that is in there. Then does it swim? Does it dive? Can it fly? And all that stuff. So yeah, and you can even combine it with equipment. Let's say you put on a jetpack and then you jump on a bicycle. Then you can still have both effects of both jetpack and bicycle at the same time. One of my favorite things to do in Scribblenauts, I would say, it was actually something people surprised us with. Again, we didn't even think about it ourselves, the development team. There's one map where there's a cat in the middle and you have a duck on the right side and you got to take it over to the left side and kind of circumvent the cat without actually harming it. So what people usually do is they would go in and take the duck and take it either underwater or fly over it. But one person actually spawned a shrink gun and shot the duck with it, put the duck in the bag, and then just walked by the cat, and it was really smart. I really liked it. So yeah, it's really things that you don't expect, even us, to happen in the game. It's amazing. So yeah, I would say we're really proud of all the possible interactions and the object behaviors in Scribblenauts for sure. Like what we planned in the beginning, especially from a technical perspective, was really close to what it is now. So there was really little iteration, but then in the end, we just gave the designers the toolbox to work with. And they constantly surprised us with new little funny things they put in there and new combinations that we didn't even think of in the beginning as programmers, so that was really amazing.